What's going on, guys? FaZe Bloo here, and today this is just gonna be a rant type, video, just with me here, no gameplay because, why not? I just want to talk to the blueberries out there. So, if any of you out there were on a winter break, I'm sure by now you were, going back to whatever you were doing before, like whether it be school, work, nothing, I don't know. I'm sure you're coming back to it now, and I am also coming back to it, and at this point, I've realized that there's like a span of a couple weeks after every single break where people are just like depressed. And that could be, I'm not only talking about like, emotionally depressed, like where everybody's sad. It could also be physically depressed, like other things are depressed, my sleep hours are depressed, just like, the term depressed, like, a depression, an economic depression. Instead of an economic depression, this is just a depression of all of us in life. I don't know. Like, it just feels like everything has just slowed down. I don't know. It's the point where I am up until like 3 in the morning because I can't get to sleep because I sleep all day after school to make up for sleep that I didn't get the night before school. And then the cycle just repeats itself unless I go a day with complete misery. It's also the point where all the teachers are always like, oh yeah, you should be more optimistic, we're back to school. And then they sit there and do a PowerPoint for an hour and a half and are surprised that people fall asleep. What else? It's the point where every single person is like, oh, how were your holidays? Did you get anything nice? And you say the same thing every single, 30 minutes or so. And, yeah. On the bright side, it is 2016, and this is a fresh start for all of us. On the downside, that also means that all the stuff we did in 2015 that was good, you can ignore that. I don't understand how people can ignore all the bad, but then not ignore all the good. Like, that's just discrimination, to be honest with you. Like, how do you think the bad things in your life feel? Terrible. You're completely ignoring them. Bad things are what make the good things good, you know what I mean? So, if your first couple days of the new year are bad, just think of it like, oh, my life's either terrible, because your life might be terrible. I'm not saying your life might not be terrible. That's just how life goes. But now I get the chance to improve. It's easier to improve on something terrible than to improve on something good. Which is why at this point, since I'm perfect, I just don't do anything. And I'm trying to just completely cripple my future to the point where I can just rebuild it and feel like I'm achieving something. But I'm still just plateauing, you know what I mean? That's my advice to all of you. Just don't do anything and you'll be happy. So it's 5 minutes into this video that I'm making, and I realize I have no idea what I've been saying. I woke up this morning and I had ideas for 2 videos like this. The next one is going to be what is fame and all that, and I'm going to do some funny stuff in that. But yeah, I just think it's funny how after the break, everyone is just coming to the point where they realize they don't like not having a break. You know what I mean? Breaks are just long enough to the point where you get used to whatever you're doing at that point. I was on a good schedule, okay? I would wake up at 2 p.m. I would go get food. I would shower, maybe, because it's break. I can take a break from hygiene because that's what that means. That's what winter break means. I'm saving water. I'm saving my own time. And then I can just go and play Xbox, and that's going to work for me. I know other people who were just starting to get to the point where they could handle work and a social life, and they were getting to the point where they were on that schedule. And then once they finally got acclimated to that, it's oh, now I have to wake up at 6 a.m. Now I have to do homework. I went in first day and had to write part of an essay not 30 minutes after I got into school. And the essay was fire because I'm like the Edgar Allan Poe of our generation. But, it was just disappointing. The next class I did, sit there and do nothing. So that was that made it up to me a little bit. But since I was already mad, in that free time I had in the next class, I just sat there and spited the teacher I had. And my first day back to school from break was pajama day. And I wore pajamas that said stud puffin on them. And I was afraid I was going to get made fun of. And my fears were justified because I was made fun of. You know, it was a wordplay that didn't properly suit me, I don't think. And it doesn't help that a lot of people don't know what a puffin is. You know, it's a bird. It's like stud muffin. That's a common expression, I believe. I say it at least 4 times a week. Just referring to myself. That's why I thought it was appropriate to wear the stud puffins. But it was not. It was not appropriate. And then I ended up, like, keeping them on the whole day, and I forgot I had them on. And, like, I went to the gym with my stud puffin pajama pants on. And there was a guy there, and he just kept giving me a funny look, and I didn't know if he was just checking me out, because, like, you know, I was doing some squats. Or if he just didn't approve of my attire. So, who knows? Who knows? Pajama day ruined my life, though. So, thank you for that. Pajama day. So, like, I'm a guy, and I don't really have much perspective into the lives of women, okay? But since we are talking about post-break depression, I've been seeing a lot of tweets from females lately that have just confused me, okay? So, like, I'm sure all of you out there have the people, if you're in, like, high school, the girls are always like, oh my god, I'm gonna look terrible tomorrow, oh, not getting any sleep, oh, and they're tweeting that at, like, 9 p.m., and they get, like, 12 hours, not 12 hours of sleep, they get, like, 8 hours of sleep, and they come the next day and they wear, like, a dress, and they're like, oh, I didn't have time to get ready, I'm sitting here wearing the same shirt for, like, 9 days, you know, I just switch out hoodies every day, and I still look perfect, but that's just jeans, you know, and G Fuel. But, like, no, that doesn't give you the right to just, you know, lie. It's depression. It's a post-break depression, and it's also a depression in truth and honesty. You know what I mean, boys and girls? And honestly, I'm sick of it.